Narrow-body aircraft are designed for short-haul flights, while wide-body planes are intended for long-haul journeys. This is the norm in most of the world, and each type of aircraft is designed with these purposes in mind. However, there are exceptions. Boeing developed the 747-400D variant exclusively for Japan Airlines and ANA to operate high-demand, high-capacity regional flights within Japan. This tradition continues today, as both airlines and others use wide bodies to carry over 300 passengers on flights between cities like Tokyo, Osaka, Sapporo, Fukuoka, and more. In the United States, the three major carriers, United, Delta, and American, often schedule Airbus A330 and Boeing 777 jets for transcontinental flights. These flights take more than 4 hours to complete, but may not always be considered long-haul. In Europe, on the other hand, it's uncommon to see twin-aisle, heavy aircraft operating short-haul routes. Only a handful of European flag carriers use wide bodies on routes shorter than 1,500 miles. Currently, Finnair and Iberia operate their Airbus A330 and A350 fleets on regular flights to London Heathrow as part of a joint venture with British Airways. Further south, we find an interesting exception to this rule. Air Europa, Spain's second-largest carrier, employs a unique strategy, operating up to 8 intra-European flights from its hub in Madrid using the Dreamliner. This includes the shortest regular Boeing 787 route on the continent, from Madrid Barajas International Airport to Barcelona El Prat Airport, just 260 nautical miles apart. It's important to note that this is not the shortest Boeing 787 flight in Europe. That title may belong to Lufthansa, which occasionally upgrades its Frankfurt to Munich route with the Dreamliner for crew training, or to Ethiopian Airlines, which operates the Oslo to Addis Ababa route via Stockholm with the Dreamliner. However, Air Europa holds the distinction of operating the shortest regular, independent service with a Boeing 787 in Europe. What factors have led Air Europa to adopt this approach, diverging from the European standard? Are these planes filled with passengers, or is the airline wasting resources by using next-generation wide bodies on short-haul routes? To answer these questions, we must examine the structure of this Spanish airline. Air Europa is structured as a traditional hub-and-spoke airline, focusing its operations on connecting passengers through its hub at Madrid Barajas Airport. Hub-and-spoke carriers typically have two main sectors: long-haul, high-demand routes served by large wide-body aircraft, and short-haul feeder routes served by smaller planes. This model is common among traditional flag carriers and is a proven business strategy in commercial aviation. Since its founding, Air Europa has primarily concentrated on flights to Latin America, currently serving 21 destinations in South and Central America and 2 in the United States, New York and Miami. This focus is logical, as Spain shares deep cultural and linguistic bonds with Latin America, making Air Europa a convenient choice for Latin American citizens in Spain and Europe traveling to their home countries. Flying between Europe and South America presents scheduling challenges due to distance and time differences. Ideally, an airline would allow aircraft to land, turn around quickly, and return to Europe at an optimal time. However, this often results in untimely arrivals, either too early or too late to align with European flight schedules. As a result, airlines must sometimes leave aircraft grounded until the appropriate departure time, incurring airport fees and leaving resources idle. This challenge is also present at Air Europa's Madrid hub. For example, the airline's first bank of South American flights arrives between 4 and 6 a.m. local time, but transatlantic departures cannot resume until around noon, resulting in a 6-hour waiting period for wide-body planes. Air Europa's solution is to utilize these grounded Dreamliners on high-demand European routes from Madrid. These routes are high value due to passenger demand, cargo, or airline partnerships, such as with ITA Airways in Italy and KLM in the Netherlands. Now, what happens with Barcelona? Air Europa is the holder of the title of shortest regular Boeing 787 service in Europe, thanks to its multiple daily flight between Barajas and El Prat. This route is actually one of the most transited in the world, with 280 flights and more than 600 high-speed trains every single week. The air bridge, which connects the 2 largest cities in Spain, has a very high volume of both leisure and business passenger traffic, so each one of the 3 airlines, Iberia, Vueling, and Air Europa, has developed its own strategy to capture the biggest market share in the route. Iberia focuses vastly on business travelers and competition against high-speed rail. It developed and perfected the system called Puente Aéreo, which allows for any given customer to arrive in Madrid less than 30 minutes before departure and exit Barcelona's airport in as quick as 5 minutes, offering efficiency as their main product. Air Europa, however, has chosen to look for all the large section of Latin American passengers as their main customer profile to offer them the quickest connection time possible instead of focusing on business travelers. To do this, it runs 2 large trunk routes taking off from Barcelona at 11:50 a.m. and 8:40 p.m., with the sole goal of connecting passengers to the 2 large transatlantic departure banks that take place from 3 p.m. and 11 p.m. The main issue with this method is, of course, the lack of flexibility for the customer. While Iberia operates no less than 15 daily hops every 30 minutes, literally allowing passengers to go to Barcelona at any time they desire, Air Europa needs to find passengers who feel comfortable booking just one of their 2 daily options available. Air Europa has found success with Europe's shortest Dreamliner flights, operating the mid-size Boeing 787-9, which seats 330 passengers and achieves load factors of 80 to 90% on these routes. For now, Air Europa's strategy seems effective. Have you heard about these short, wide-body flights? Have you flown on Air Europa's Boeing 787 Dreamliner? Share your thoughts on the in-flight experience in the comments below.